What was I gonna say here? The Jakiro. So the
Hold
skill
on,
build of
Vinny.
Jakiro,
I can.
yeah,
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I thought it was just your background. It's starting. Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
yeah. So Jakiro. I love the talents on this hero. Is one thing. Speaking about the build, because there's actually kind of a lot of builds, surprisingly. And you tend to get some farm as this hero because you're actually really good at farming.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be a big thing I watch for you. Is are you gonna farm the? Okay, so this is already a bad start. Why did we auto skill this? But anyway, as I always say, you never auto skill because you never know what you might need. And realistically, this isn't 100% of the time thing, but dual breath is 90% of the time what I end up taking, maybe 80, maybe like 80% of the time. Dual breath. This doesn't slow, right? If you don't know, this doesn't slow. It just attack slows. So
I know.
if you actually need to kill someone, then dual breath is by far the best skill. So we'll see what happens there. But this is doesn't cost any mana, which isn't as good as it sounds, honestly. Like, oh, no mana, then that's good, right? Well, it's like you could be regenerating mana and using mangoes and stuff, but you can't even because you don't even need to spend mana. Like this spell, we're doing 12 times 5, 60 damage every 20 seconds. Magic deal damage, of course. It's okay. This spell is really low damage too. As you can see, it's 20 times 5, so this is 100, which is pretty darn low for that mana cost. But I mean, it's still more than Liquid Fire, and it slows. That's what I'm mainly caring about. And this is definitely, it scales pretty well too. So Q is pretty much always what I max first on Jack, especially because this is what you farm waves with. And Jakiro can farm very well. I mean, sometimes you even see core Jakiro. I've played it myself.
So the thing is, my reasoning behind this whole thing is, I actually at some point I just maxed liquid breath first.
Yeah, that's not
because
too bad. I'm
can
just saying level
harass,
1.
you can harass really
Yeah.
nicely, and but we always, what I would do is liquid breath. I mean, you're gonna see a liquid fire, and then I would get the ice path in order to stop them from last hitting and all that stuff. So we'll get an advantage, an edge over them. But I noticed that if I max liquid fire and don't get dual breath at all, then they kill us all the time. So now the last few
Yeah, I
days
mean,
I've changed that in order to
mhm.
be killed less often.
So there's a lot of ways to do the Jakiro build. You can't go too wrong. I definitely have maxed liquid fire by 7 before because the scaling on this actually does get pretty good because it goes down to 4 seconds at max level.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's very good for pushing the tower. But if it's going to be a very even lane, which a lot of the lanes will be, especially in these patches and in your bracket, I mean, it's 2v2 all the time.
It is now. It didn't used to be.
Jakiro's average. He's pretty average at laning.
Okay.
What are we gonna do? I don't think we're gonna get to push a tower. For a very long time, I don't think we're gonna get to push a tower. So that's a big part of why I would take this skill in the past. Years and years ago, TI3, the build was 4-4-0. Then it was 1-4-4.
Yeah.
You could even skip ulti and stuff. So yeah, this is definitely the only way I wouldn't do it is by taking Ice Path. So
you wouldn't
a
take
great way to look
Path as a second, or you wouldn't max it?
Definitely not. No. I would. I usually, realistically, I usually end up taking this at level 9, which is not great necessarily. But so let's just do the math on this. This is a great way to calculate what's the better disable or what's the better kill potential. Yeah. Stuns. The later you go, the better stuns get. So later in the game, stuns are better because you're stopping people from using more abilities. You're stopping people from using more items and stuff. And your teammates, you and your teammates are more powerful, which means you can kill them in the duration of a stun. During the laning stage, everyone is very weak. So think about it like this. So you have a 5-second, 28% move slow. Think of this stun as a 1 second, 100% move slow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 100. That's 100. Let's, for the sake of, if you're not following me, tell me to re-explain. But think of this as a 100% slow for 1 second.
And then
think of this,
5 seconds.
And then think of this as a whatever 28 times 5 is 136 or something. This is 136% move slow for 1 second.
Yeah.
So this is always going to lead to getting more hits on the opponent than this. Plus, this one does 50 damage. This one does 100 damage.
Yeah.
So this one is less mana. This one is less cooldown, but yeah. More importantly, it's just the fact that this one is like the damage is going to scale really well, and nukes, as you know, as I'm sure you know, nukes tend to be the things you max first, just because like
Yeah,
people
because
have such
later
low
on they
HP
don't
right
do
now.
anything anymore. I mean, of course, you need it at the beginning. It
I mean,
hurts a
yeah,
lot,
even
and later it
Jakiro
doesn't.
spells. I mean, this spell, as time goes on with Jakiro, how he is these days, it's still going to do damage, like pretty good damage later on. But it's still like the earlier on you are, the better percentage of HP you're taking out from your opponents. So this never scales in terms of damage.
Yep.
A spell that doesn't scale in terms of damage is probably not great in the laning stage. There are very few spells when you think about it that you would take more than 1 point of, or sometimes even 0 points of, that don't scale damage-wise in the laning phase. So
I love dual breath. Don't get me wrong. It's just eats so much mana that just does my head in. I don't know how to keep up with the mana. You know.
So you have to make sure you're casting it in useful ways. So like for example, the usage of this ice path here, I think it like stops one last hit, which is actually a good usage because you have it. Like remember what I say, like you don't want to save anything. Like maybe you stop Earthshaker from lasting that creep. So you spent that mana to stop him from lasting a creep. That's fine because otherwise you weren't going to spend mana on anything. So this is by far the right usage.
Okay.
Yes, you have to be more smart with dual breath because dual breath is mana. It does cost a lot of mana. The mana cost goes up as well a little bit per level.
It's better over time though. It's more effective, efficient.
Yeah, the damage is way more over time, which is what I care about personally in the laning stage. But it's not something that you can just cast like that on your opponents, really. It's something that you need to cast when you and your lane mate are going to have a chance to hit them. Because if you just cast it just to do damage, then we're looking at a bad return on our mana.
So you only really want to do it if you can add a few hits to it.
Yes, only when both you and Void are ready
okay.
to get a hit or two. Because you're going to get in way more hits with Dual Breath than you would with Ice Path.
Got it. Okay, yeah, I haven't thought about that. Yeah.
This spell is pretty nice for jungling. Again, I would not hate if you max this by 7. I've done it myself. I just would like to see Dual Breath.
Yeah, that's cool. And so the ice you wouldn't take at all, huh? You would just go dual breath and liquid
I don't
fire.
think it's bad to do, like sometimes you see 4-4-0. I'm sure if I were to look at my last Jack game, sort of stats never load sometimes. Yeah, as you can see, I actually didn't end up taking to 11, which might have that might have been too late. But as you can see, I maxed Dual Breath by 7, Talent 10 because your talent's so good, and then I wanted to max Liquid Fire 2 because at level 4 this is so good. So the choice for me was either between my ulti or Ice Path, and I chose my ulti. And you'll see I maxed. I do think Ice Path is a great spell though.
Yeah.
And you see I chose to max it before I even took another point in my ulti.
Which talent do you take, Vinny?
Oh, it's always the same for Jakiro. You go experience, dual breath burn, gold, and the 25 is the only choice. Usually Ice Path, but if you have an Ags and your team is lacking damage, then you'll take the 25. And or if the enemy has like a ton of magic immunity. Okay, so believe it or not, right there you might have killed the DK, depending on what items he has. Okay, no boots. Yeah, I think you could have killed the DK with enough luck and with... Okay, so the Void has a good meta build, abusing those Wraith Bands right now in this patch. So if we had 2 points... So here's another... That's one other downside we haven't discussed yet of the Ice Path, is you actually have to aim this much more. It's so much harder to hit the Ice Path than it is Dual Breath.
Yep.
If you have level 2 Dual Breath, then you cast on this DK, he is considerably slowed. If Void gets any amount of bashes, then the DK gets slowed even more. And guess what? This cooldown is lower than this cooldown, and you could have gotten off a second Dual Breath, and I think you would have died. Because you could have Dual Breathed the DK twice, because the DK didn't have boots. He does now. And this is kind of what you pay for like waiting in some aspects. So, see, at this point, the Void's not ready for you. If you dual breath him right away, Yeah, because it's exactly what happens. So you hit him, you sort of just dual breathed him and then hit him.
Mhm.
So now the Void's already committed to farming creeps, and as you can see, just as I predicted, what does DK do? He just walks away when you dual breath him. So then it's just damage, and
Yeah, he's got
135
14
mana for 100
regen.
damage is yes, it's not a good trade.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you take Ice Path as well. You're like, well, it's so much mana, it does my head in. Well, I mean, that's so much mana because you have both your spells. Like that's why it's so much mana.
Because you have
And
the
you
ice
can't
path
just
as well.
play, yeah, and you can't just play only Ice Path. Like that's like I've never seen that. I think that would be pretty bad. You can't just go 0-4-4. Like that would be too bad. So like it's for me, it's just between one or the other, and I would always take dual breath.
So you would actually take until level 5, you would take 3 on dual breath and 2 on liquid fire.
Yeah, and then from there you choose whether or not you usually don't end up taking. I don't usually end up taking my ulti on 6, but you definitely can. Yeah, so basically you go 3-0-2, and then from there you decide what you need. If you need Ice Path to cancel, let's say, TPs or something, like if people are TPing out of this lane, or if there's channeled spells, then Ice Path would be fine at level 6. If you have enough stun, like if your teammates have stun, and you can actually hit Macropyre, then you can take Macropyre. If you guys are winning the lane and you think you're going to be able to push soon, then you can go Liquid Fire again at level 6 and then again at level 7, because the max Liquid Fire is mega noticeable. As you can see, the cooldown, it goes down 5 seconds every level, except for 6, that last level, down to 4 whole seconds. So that DPS tower is crazy. But, and then if you just think you need damage, and we don't have, the mana and the setup for Macropyre or whatever it is, then more dual breath, and also farming. Don't forget, this also farms, which we aren't going to have the opportunity to do for a long time. But you should definitely give your void a tango here. You did great. All right. So this is pretty classic, like low MMR carry. Not enough regen. This guy had these items for a very long time. He's had a long time to bring himself a salve. At this point, I'm just bringing him a salve because he's not smart enough to do it himself. Like the courier is not in usage. At this point, I'm just buying salve and such and bringing it to us.
Yeah, he was always low. I didn't understand why he was. I thought it was just. I don't know.
Well, he can shrine here. This is a great choice. Like this is meant to be used. You might as well do this. Sure, you can go ahead and get the shrine too. Go for the runes after this, though. Definitely go for the runes after this. And yeah, it looks like we are going to. You're gonna have to get your sun off, though. Very nice. Okay, so I would like to point out that this didn't really do very much there, and if we had my build with 3 points in this, we would have killed Earthshaker, I think. But we also might have lost the rune because I wouldn't have had Ice Path, so it's a trade. Honestly, the bounty runes are very important, so you might have actually benefited from Ice Path there. The bounty runes right now are a little bit more than a kill, honestly. So.
Yeah, I like the Ice Path. Just one level on it can really annoy them. I'm actually wondering. I mean, I agree with the dual breath thing, but I'm wondering if I'm. Ah, no, not better off with.
You can take 1 point at this.
It's a mana
at
problem.
This.
Yeah, okay.
Whoa! We just away there. All right, there's nothing you can really do to live there. I don't know about this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was. That was really stupid. So I'm sorry. What is this? A mid bounty hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. He was nasty in this game. He just destroyed everyone.
Who was our mid? Pudge? Yeah. Very interesting.
That was our mid, the Pudge. Yeah.
Very interesting. Not a matchup you would ever see in a real game.
Yeah, I think he was just having fun, the Pudge guy.
Wait, why do we have 2 of these? Oh, because we're going Soul Ring? Yeah, I don't think we need that at all.
I always have Soul Ring. Is that not good? Because I'm thinking then I can spam dual breath all the time.
Yeah, you can. You could also just like. So here's the deal. I'll have to watch and I'll have to see where it goes, but
I mean, I always have the same.
Cast your dual breath. Cast your dual breath. What the fuck? What are you doing? It's only level 1, so I don't know if it. You didn't even cast this.
It was really bad death there. I was
Rip.
very annoyed.
And guess what? If we had the item I would have had, we would have lived and killed them. And that item is obviously Wand. Wand is still the most broken item in the game. Although you don't have to go Wand on every core anymore, just because of how strong the stat items are, like these Wraith Bands. They've at least nerfed them a little bit. So I would still go Wand every game on every hero. But yeah, I mean, if you have Wand there, you 100% live very easily.
So you wouldn't go Soul Ring, huh?
I'm sure I've literally never gone on Jakiro.
Okay.
The whole spamming thing, like, yeah, it's gonna give you a ton of mana. Realistically, like my most common build looks like Wand, Tranquil Boots, into like Aether Lens, and Aether Lens is gonna give you a ton of mana anyway.
I always go Aether Lens, true.
And then you go into Yules, and then whatever else, depending on what's going on.
So you go Aether Lens before Yules?
I
never use.
Usually, I mean, it doesn't really. I do both, I'm sure.
Most people go Yules first, but I don't like it. I don't know.
Okay, so in this game, I think I went. Okay, this game I went Glimmer Cape first. Ah, yes, I remember this game. And then I went Yules. This was the actual VP Roger, by the way.
Who's that?
Virtus Pro. You know
okay, yeah, I don't know the players. I just know a few.
All right, let's see. How did we die?
Yeah, I think I went for I do that very often. I go for the push, and then I die.
Yeah, good glyph there. I mean, I don't think we knew he had Blink Dagger, but at this point you're dead. You better be clicking on people. You're dead. You need to be clicking on people. So you should be saying to your team that this guy's Blink Dagger now because he just blinked on you.
Yeah.
So you need to point that out. And you know, it's just always good to see what your opponents have. Since you literally can't do anything else, you're dead. So you might as well click on them. So, I mean, mid-pudge is still bad, but, like, it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. The hero does scale more than he used to. Oh, no, looks like we... do I get to blame this on you not having Wand? Let's see. You know, I think I do. I think I do get to blame you that for not having Wand. If you... Oh, okay, they still got him. Okay. They still got him, but yeah, you would have lived there. I thought the Wand was going to be necessary to kill the Lich as well as to live. Looks like it was just necessary to live, but
So do you upgrade from the stick to the wand?
Oh, I always, yeah. I get that question a lot. For me, it's a little confusing for some reason.
Or after? Sorry.
That you just kind of play it by ear. Usually after. The Tranquils are very good. Tranquils, I do see a lot of people go Arcane Boots. I don't like that. No. I think the Tranquils are very nice. I think you end up with enough mana once you have Aether Lens anyway. So, Tranquils, very good.
Another question I asked myself. I mean, I'm really obviously good at pushing out waves, but should I do that or should I?
So I like that you're maxing this now at least.
Sorry.
So you want to push out waves that are. So that's a great question. So you want to push out waves that are relatively safer for you. Nice hook. Because obviously you're gonna feed if they just choose to attack. Please don't. Okay, good. You got experience gain. You always take the experience gain. No matter, even if you're core, you still take the experience gain. But like, this is just way too much experience, and like your support even as well. So you're probably gonna be one of the lower leveled. So, like the experience gain is just super good. At least you got the ward before you died. Yeah, we definitely need some sentries. Like the bounty hunter has been scouting people and killing people, and we haven't gotten any wards yet. So definitely, let's pick up some sentries. True. Yeah, definitely read the book. Yeah, and if you can read the book after you have the talent, it's even better.
Yeah. If I can, I do that because then you have the 30% extra.
Yeah, that tends to be the 20-minute tome, just like you did. Okay, and yeah, you always place your sentry first in case they have vision here.
Yeah, you told me that last time. Another thing that I'm doing, I've done a few times, and I think I won the game for us just by doing that. I spent against an anti-mage, I would spend like crazy amount of money to put blue wards in every camp.
Yeah, block camp. Yeah, that is not that. So that is something that years and years ago was I mean, not every camp necessarily, but years and years ago, that was very common because, or at least way more common in competitive Dota because a couple reasons. Like they didn't have the spawn boxes. Actually, like now you can alt, and see these boxes.
Yeah,
I feel like that was a big reason why that got less popular because now like before, if you didn't know the box, you're just like, oh Jesus, like I hope if I reveal it, I'm probably just gonna block my own camp, if you don't know the boxes really well. So that like made a huge difference in terms of that, but it still works, like especially in pubs.
And in
Okay,
pro
great
play
fight.
it doesn't work because they would just get.
No, it's still. I mean, you make people go over there. It's still something you see. You just don't see it. Like in pro play, like at TI3 and earlier, like you saw that a lot. I'm just saying the spawn boxes, I think, is a big part why you don't see it so much in pro play anymore, and also the fact that there's more camps now as well, so it's like a little harder to do it.
Yeah.
This is getting a little bit deep.
Oh yeah.
But if we could just like, no, please just, no, don't go deep, dude. Please just burn the racks. Just burn the racks. Nice. Now everybody get out. Get out, get out. Get out. Okay, you would have lived if you had won, but that's okay.
But it was worth killing the racks, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Just saying that you probably would have lived if you had won. All right, great. And the Void chose to go non-greedy this game, which I think is fine against this lineup. And the Void's got some good chronos, so he's in 1 right now. So a great choice, I think. Big mistake potentially. Oh, okay. Well, Ursa shows up. Big mistake potentially momming before time walking there because he silenced himself, so he couldn't catch up with a time walk. But it was fine. Nice hook. Just get this. Okay, the ignite hit. He's gonna die. Very good. Very good. Unfortunately, if I remember correctly, we lose this game, and I do not see how we can. So let's find out.
No, the Earthshaker cruises up at some point. We were.
Okay, very nice. That I like that we stopped to kill this shrine. Like it's important.
Yeah.
I like that the Void. I kind of like that the Void leaves for it and lets you guys finish it as well. This is one of the strengths of Jakiro, of course, is that you're like one of the only supports in the game that can actually damage buildings. So, we got the Void out of danger. You got to finish it off. Void gets to go, and well, he ends up coming back because we saw an AM, but whatever. Nice hook. I mean, to be fair, the DK walked very predictably. Okay, so that's actually very good there. So you dual breath the Lich because the DK is probably already dead, right? So instead of wasting a spell on the guy who's already dead, you choose to dual breath the Lich. And somebody even was that Ogre's force? Nice force. The Ogre even forced the Lich to make him go further into your team.
Now this
come on, guys. This was so stupid. This was so stupid on so many. Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, that's
so this was so stupid on so many levels. So first of all, great kills. But this is where I always see. There's this one guy that I coach so often. He's gotten so many hours with me, and he is just like in the absolute trenches. And he only got out of Herald a while ago, and I see his games, and I'm like, this is over. Like I know this is over because you drew a line down mid lane. Like why are you guys doing that? Like you guys are winning this game. There's no rush. What's the rush? There's no rush. Like, think of all the things, right? Okay, first of all, obviously this positioning is a little insane against the Earthshaker, but even ignoring that, even if there's not an Earthshaker in this game, I would not be here. Like, Roche is still alive, right? I think. Yeah, Roche is still alive. And we're just winning the game, and like, there's still barracks in the other lanes, so like, why do we need to go throne? We're gonna win this game no matter what if you just don't play stupid. And very well coordinated by them, and now they kill 3v4.
That was it.
Not okay.
That's when we lost.
And it is well played. Like they clearly executed that. They needed to do that. Like if they didn't do that, they're gonna lose. But why did you open that up to them? Just kill the Roche. Like this Roche is, or is it still dead? Okay, it is still dead. Whatever, but still, just kill the top barracks and wait for the Roche. You don't have to kill the Roche, but you can wait for it. Ursa killed it early, as Ursas always do. And that means the next one had cheese. All you need to do is wait for the Aegis cheese and end the game. What time is it? Okay.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it was just a nightmare from there onwards. It's just...
Okay, so we have been landing our spells well. That's really the only reason that we're going to lose the game. I think that the Level 2 point Ice Path was quite a significant mistake. Not regenning our Void was a significant mistake. It's obviously more his fault than it is ours, but no one was using that courier. You could have brought him south if you wanted to. Not having a wand got you killed, but otherwise the usage of the spells is quite good. Really just like, again, strategy wise, why did we do that? Like, we didn't even have our 5th guy either. He was going top, which is where everyone should have been, but such a huge rush. It's like, oh no, they have anti-mage. Well, like, I don't really care. I mean, we have Void. I mean, Void is a great AM counter anyway, and like rushing to the late game is generally super unnecessary, just because like the Dota has changed so much over the years. Like, the better late game lineup it doesn't look anything like it used to. Like, you can win with any heroes in the late game now because of all the crazy interactions and items and talents and stuff like that. So it's really, so this is actually fun. Yeah, okay. So that time he didn't. The problem there is he didn't team up with his AM there. Like, you can get off the echo there, but just you aren't enough. Okay, great. Now all we gotta do is kill this tier 2 and take another lane of Rax. So we're still fine here. Okay, Void's actually gonna go for the solo kill on the AM. This will be good if he gets it, but I don't know if he should be doing this. Oh wait, what the fuck's happening to AM? Oh no.